What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Katrina, and it's going to be a really beautiful show tonight. I'm really excited because, for those of you that are regulars, every week you hear me say, this is Love Coach Scott Katrina. Well, tonight we're going to be talking a lot about kind of the foundation of love coaching. My co-founder of Love Coach Academy is my co-host. You'll meet her in a moment. And we're going to be talking about Love Smart. It's a line of cards, it's a line of products. Most of all, it's a consciousness. It's a way of thinking, feeling, communicating. It's kind of compassionate communication plus. And we've got a really wonderful group of people. Ann West is a longtime friend and one of our great love coaches. She's going to be with us tonight. Katrina has invited friends from all over the world, including Nancy, who's coming to us from India, which is very exciting. We're looking forward to hearing from Nancy. And Linda Switzer, another longtime friend, a great coach, coming to us from Canada. It truly is a global show tonight. And our old friend, Teresa, well, she's not that old, but as long as we've known her is a wonderful thing. And she's with us, and I'm trying to find her. Where did you go? There she is. Okay, took a moment there. And Teresa's coming to us from the Midwest. So again, people coming from all over. And we have wonderful music. You might remember her. She was on the show quite a while ago. Vaidehi is back. And she is, she really represents also India and many different cultures. And she's going to provide some really special offerings. Speaking of special musical offerings, Omashar is with us, as well as Giara and Desiree, and we will have a special after-show, afterglow prayer time. But the hostess with the mostest, the queen of the ball, my dear friend, Love Coach Katrina Vaillancourt, is my co-host, and I'm going to turn it over to Katrina to share a few words.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott. It's lovely to be here with the Global Peace Tribe to celebrate the art of compassionate communication as it supports us in cultivating the highest win-win in all of our connections, starting with ourselves, starting with our own hearts, and that learning that happens through self-reflection, through feeling into the body, through understanding our own needs. So I feel delighted to be here today. And I also recognize we're going to do a little musical invocation. So before I share more about Love Smart, I'd really love to have our beloved Omashar share a song with us.
Yes, welcome everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. And I just had a flash in my mind. Let's imagine that we're all sitting in a huge circle together, all of us on the Zoom and Facebook and YouTube and watching the replays, even forget the time, because there is no time. Imagine we're all sitting in a circle together around a beautiful fire, and the fire is the heart of us all. And so without further ado, I'm going to play a song called This Beautiful Garden. And there we go. Here we go. Oh yeah, I seem to remember the time when we all were happy, and my family, we all were together, singing harmonies, my sisters and brothers. I often dream that we're gathered together, and we all live in this beautiful garden by a river with my favorite flowers, and the trees there, I know them by name. If you'd like a new life, here it is, here it is, here it is. If you'd like a true life, here it is, here it is, here it is. We all are born of the great sun. We all are beloved golden ones. Do you remember? You're part of the story. like a new life. Here it is, here it is, here it is. If you'd like a true life, here it is, here it is, here it is.
For those of you new here on the Awakening World, we twinkle, and especially twinkling many times a show, our beloved Omashar. That was a perfect song too, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I was guided to that one by our beloved co-host here, Katrina. She said, I think that would be the perfect song for the beginning of the show. And I agree, because it's a song of all inclusivity of everything. So thank you, Katrina.
Definitely. Thank you. It reminds me so much of the Garden of Eden and that paradise that we would love to recreate.
That is exactly where it came from when I was writing it. It was when I was writing it, when I was receiving it and describing it, I'll put it that way. Exactly. Thank you. All right.
Yes. I love the quote, "The earth is one country and mankind its people." And along with that, we are flowers of one garden, the leaves on one tree. May the walls come down. We'll stand here together. We are one family. These are some of the beautiful quotes that inspire me to cultivate love and compassion and to do that in my own life and to share it with others. This is a very practical way that we can bring about that Eden on earth that our hearts know is possible. Like Rumi says that our job is not to seek love, but to find and remove the barriers in ourselves that we've built against it. And so that's what brings us together here this evening, is that path of inquiry. What would love do? And how can I cultivate those qualities in my life and the people around me? And so I am inspired to share a favorite quote here, along with those other ones. This one I don't have memorized, but it's a favorite of mine. Love gives life to the lifeless. Love lights a flame in the heart that is cold. Love brings hope to the hopeless and gladdens the hearts of the sorrowful. In the world of existence, there is indeed no greater power than the power of love. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here this evening. And it's also why we're here in these bodies on this earth, is really to learn and to cultivate that art of love. And it is my soul mission, my dharma, to empower all those around me to be able to identify and remove those barriers to love. As it is, I know, for many of the other love coaches that are joining me here as co-teachers in our forum here tonight. So I look forward to introducing you to our various love coaches as the evening progresses. And I'd love to start with Scott, our host of the Global Peace Tribe, also one of my first two teachers who brought nonviolent communication to my world almost 20 years ago. I think I met you, Scott, somewhere between 19 and 20 years ago now. But I'd love to hear from you. What attracted you to nonviolent communication, and what could you say about the difference it's made, like life before and life after these tools?
Well, so around the year 2000, I was having a really hard year. I was in the middle of a very kind of a toxic relationship that I was very interwoven in. And a lot of things were falling apart. And our mutual friend, Lori Grace, who's been on this show, introduced me to Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. And they actually wanted to do a video. And back then I was doing video production. And so I was actually hired by the Center for Nonviolent Communication to do a series of videos with Marshall. Marshall Rosenberg's the founder of Nonviolent Communication. And I actually had the opportunity to travel with him. I had my trusty camera and I traveled with him. We started in Corona Del Mar in Southern California at an IIT kind of intensive training. And then we traveled all the way up the coast, all the way up to Seattle, Washington. And all along the way, I'm staying in hotel rooms with him and eating with him, but most of all, watching his genius and watching how, whether he was working with parents, teachers, prison inmates, highly educated people, not so educated people, everybody was getting it. Everybody was having breakthroughs. And I truly fell in love with who he was as a being and the genius of his understanding, the essence of it, that we have to drop into our heart, that communication has to be heart-based. And then also his genius about how everything we're doing is an attempt to get precious needs met. And our feelings are connected to whether those needs are being met or not. So there's nothing like learning something. The best way to do it is to make a video about it. And I actually did a series of videos. And it really changed my life. That's when I kind of made the transition over a period of a couple of years from Scott, the writer, director, producer, which I'd been for 25 years, into Scott, the love coach Scott Katamas. And it was, I guess, a couple of years after that I met Katrina. And we became the best of friends and had many adventures together. And then Katrina was very close to my wife, Suchi. And when I took Suchi to the hospital and got the diagnosis that she was terminal, first person I called was Katrina. And she was there with me through that transition. And we just had the anniversary of that last week. After Suchi passed, Katrina and I, out of really, to some degree, dedicating to her and to life, we started the Love Coach Academy together. And for many years, Love Coach Academy was my main thing and a big part of Katrina's life as well. And some of the people on tonight's show were a part of that. So I'll stop there, but that's a brief part of my history. And the last thing I'll say is that now I've coached over 1,000 couples and families, and every single one of those coaching sessions has included some of the wisdom, some of the tools that I initially learned from Marshall Rosenberg and helped hone with Katrina, Ann West, Teresa, and some of the people that are on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. So when I first met Scott, I knew nothing about nonviolent communication, except for that it was something I needed to learn. And I knew I needed to learn it because I was trying really hard to be a loving person. However, I found that there were times when an energy of frustration would build in me to the point of explosion. And I would say things out of anger with intensity, and then I'd be ashamed of myself. What did I just do? And how do I make it stop? And I could not find the answer to that. And a spiritual teacher I was working with at the time said, I recommend you study nonviolent communication with Lori Grace and Scott Katamas. And I was living in Santa Cruz at the time. I happened to meet Scott that summer because he came to Santa Cruz and he introduced me to Lori, and they became my two first teachers. So nonviolent communication has been profoundly transformational in my life. This was one of the major challenges I needed to resolve. But I also had a very broken relationship with my ex-husband. Our co-parenting wasn't working. It was impacting my son and my relationship with my son. There was a tremendous amount of mess, I could say, in my life. And nonviolent communication held these keys to being able to heal my relationship to my son, to my ex-husband, and up-level every relationship in my life. I don't want to go totally into that story right now because I do have it written in a guidebook that goes with the Love Smart cards. I also have one in the box. You can see perhaps that I have Love Smart cards also in another video. But the short story would be, it's been profoundly transformational. And early on in my studies, I was gifted a couple nonviolent communication mediation sessions with a certified trainer. And those sessions seemed miraculous to me. The very first one was with my ex-husband. We were not doing well. We could not last in a room for even 15 minutes without having a breakdown where anger and tears would arise. So he came into a mediation, he agreed to it and said he would be willing to stay for up to a half hour. 3 hours later, we had cleared so much of the pain of the past. We were able to look into each other's eyes and say, I love you, and I really want what's best for you and our son. That changed the foundation for our co-parenting dynamic. That was the first major miracle of many I could list that happened with these Love Smart cards, that happened with nonviolent communication, rather. I recognized that there was a key in nonviolent communication that I hadn't figured out yet. It was a key called empathy. There were times very early on when I'd have some kind of major challenge that was going on, and Scott would ask, well, how are you feeling and what do you need? These are two very basic questions we ask in nonviolent communication. And I just said, I don't know. I'm just feeling so much. And the cards gave me a tool and a capacity to learn the art of empathy very, very rapidly and conveniently at home. And even in an emotionally dysregulated state, I could still practice with this simple card tool. And so I found that this is a wonderful tool and resource for others who are interested in learning the art of empathy, gratitude, character development, and conflict resolution. And I'm delighted to be sharing the redesign with you in our time here today. So in addition, well, let's see, I think, yes, I'm just going to go to the video and share with you all what the cards look like. Let's see. Introducing Love Smart Heart-Centered Communication Cards, a practical tool for cultivating compassionate communication, emotional intelligence, and human virtue rapidly and effectively. Inside the box, you'll find everything you need to bring more connection, clarity, and care into your conversations. You'll receive a 108-page complete guidebook filled with over 60 practices, from quick daily spark exercises that take just a few minutes, to deeper, mindful inquiries for self-reflection, to transformational deep dive reflections that support healing and personal growth. You'll also discover tips for communicating assertively and compassionately, working with kids, and practicing solo, with a partner, or in a group setting. The 4 decks include Universal Needs, the foundation of nonviolent communication; Emotions connected to unmet needs; Emotions connected to met needs; and Character Strengths, inspired by spiritual teachings and positive psychology. These tools support the development of empathy, gratitude, conflict transformation, character development, and more. They help us bring our best selves forward in family life, classrooms, counseling sessions, and communities.
The Love Smart cards aren't just a communication tool. They're a path to deeper self-understanding and meaningful connection with others. Whether you're a teacher, therapist, life coach, parent, or simply someone committed to growing in love and wisdom, this set was made for you. Let's create a more connected world, one conversation at a time.
So that is the latest edition that grew out of the project I had to heal my own life and heal my relationship with my son. This is I guess, third iteration. This is the last one, which you may have seen in some other sessions. And it's really a joy to be able to share that with you. So in addition to this, of course, the Love Smart cards are a wonderful tool you can use at home. And I have started a group called the Compassionate Heart Collective. And you can join that group by going to the link I just put in the chat. It's facebook.com/groups/Love Smart. We'll bring you to that page. And one more share here. When you go to that page, there will be some free resources there. Some of these might look familiar to you. We have a redesign of this What's Alive in Me tool, the communication choices, and the 7 adjustments. This one was originally created by Scott. And of course, we've got the feelings, needs, character strengths, and a quick start guide. So I wanted to just let you know what's there. In addition, I'll be hosting live group coaching calls with Empathy Buddy Practice. So for those of you who are really interested in taking these practices into your life, I wanted to let you know that this resource is here.
And I really want to encourage everybody right now, like, we put the link in the chat. While she's been chatting, I just joined and I'm actually doing an initial post about tonight's show. Let's right now, almost everybody is on their computer, obviously, because you're on Zoom. Some of you are on your phone. And click the link that's in the chat box and let's all join her Facebook group right now. Let's do it. And that's going to be a place where we can stay in contact and connection with Katrina and a lot of the people you're meeting tonight. And yeah, what are some of your visions for the Facebook group, Katrina?
Yes, to engage in meaningful dialogue, to be able to support each other as we have challenges, interpersonal challenges arise, so that we can share our learning with each other, we can practice with each other, and we can use these tools. So when you have a challenging situation, you might just pick up the quick start guide and the words lists and say, okay, well, let's go through this together. One of the things I love about nonviolent communication, and especially being able to use the cards or words lists, is it makes it so accessible, easy, and duplicatable that somebody who's fairly new to these tools can pick it up and really do a lot to care for themselves in a situation or show up for a friend who's in need. And so this group is here to be able to support that kind of community connection, as well as just engaging conversation and resources that will support us all to be able to cultivate deeper compassion in our lives. All right, so it's such a blessing that these cards have, in a way, they've taken off on their own. When I first made a set, I had others who wanted sets, and so I was hand making sets for a while, and then the demand grew, and so of course I published one. We've now sold about 1,500 sets of cards around the world, and of course I've got these wonderful international partners, including Linda Switzer and Nancy Ketal, who are both here with us today, and then Makiko and I, who might be able to join us later on. Linda is from Canada, Nancy is from India, and Makiko is from Japan. And it's just really beautiful to be able to take this consciousness and these tools and share it internationally. So with that, I would love to bring on Linda Switzer. Linda, welcome. It's wonderful to see you. Linda and I connected about 15 years ago, I believe. She is an extraordinary neurotransformational coach. She's also an intimacy educator, and she has done work in corporate settings with teachers and has an incredible ability to design workshops due to her background in teaching in the system in Canada, where they use the Socratic method of teaching in order to share new skills with students. So Linda, it's really my pleasure to have you here, and I'd love to hear what you would like to share today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Katrina. Well, I mean, my whole life has changed, obviously, since I met you and Scott. And I was just thinking, Scott, that the very first experience I had with nonviolent communication was when you came across on a tool we used to use called Skype, and you came into a room in someone's condo in downtown Calgary, and you taught this 2 to 3 hour workshop in the evening, and you basically taught us the essentials that you had learned, obviously from Marshall, and that you shared with Katrina. And I was a high school English teacher at the time. And the very next day, I went to school, and, as courageous, the kind of wild person I am, I just had this disciplinary situation with a grade 9 boy who was talking while I was trying to teach. And I asked him to stay after class. And I went and sat down in my desk, and I had a conversation with him. I wanted to make sure I was sitting lower than him so I didn't have a power over dynamic.
Mm.
And then I just did, in like the very most basic and rudimentary way, try to apply exactly what you had taught the day before, the night before, the very night before. I'll just go, footloose and fancy free and try and use this thing that I just learned last night from Scott Katamas. And I did. And I spoke to him in a way that I had never talk to a kid when I was disciplining him. And I just explained that how I was guessing that he was maybe bored when I was reteaching a certain part of the lesson, because I knew he was very smart, and that I noticed that he was talking with his friends and making them laugh, and that didn't meet my need for respect in that moment. And he just looked at me, and his head lowered a little. And then I stopped talking, and he said, "Do I report to the DT room now for my detentions? How many days will I serve?" And I said, "No." And then he said, "Oh, you're sending me to the principal's office?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, what then?" And I said, "We're done here." And he left. And I want to report that I was substitute teaching in that classroom because it was a very challenging group, and their regular teacher had gone on stress leave. So it wasn't an easy group, but I never had a problem with that boy again for the remainder of the semester. I ended up covering for the teacher till the end of the semester. And I really thought that you had possibly given me a magic wand that night if I could affect that kind of change. And so, of course, many years later, I met you in person when you were teaching again these skills on a weekend, one day retreat, one night retreat here in Calgary. And you insisted that I come and visit for your live-in intimacy and communication retreat in California. And you kept inviting me, and our mutual friend, of course, encouraged as well. And I did. And that's where I got to meet the angel, Katrina, who we know as Katrina, who did a little mini Love Smart card workshop during that 5-day, I believe it was, live-in intensive. And when I played with the cards and held them in my hand, the things that you had taught just made so much more sense. It really locked in for me, and it really helped me understand, what this tool was more so, and how I could potentially use this in my life and in other people's lives. And I started trying to think of ways I could use it in the classroom, not fully really understanding the tool. After I got home, I reached out to Katrina and hired her for some private coaching on how to use the tools. And one day she said, I think you've got it. I've taught you all the basics of the process of MVC and how to use it. And so then I said to her, great, then I now am ready to tell you I want to do what you do. And Katrina, in her loving, sweet way, said, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, right? He goes, what exactly do you mean by that? I want to do what you do. And I said, I want to teach the whole world how to talk like this.
Mm.
And I want there to be more peace and love. And she teared up. And she said, I prayed for you.
Mm.
Then she said, how is it that you think that you could help me do that? And I said, well, I'm a certificated teacher and I understand how people learn. And I want to design workshops with you that are really effective and that people can learn it like I did, in that one experience, virtual even, but live, virtual, whatever, learn these skills and go and take them and apply them to their own lives and the lives of all the people they touch. And that birthed our partnership, our business partnership, to work together for me to design workshops and co-create all of the offerings that we have had for many, many years. And I've taught 100 probably Love Smart Card workshops now, all across Canada. And also then when Makiko came on board for Japan, I worked with Makiko to support her and train her on offering these in Japan as well, recognizing any cultural nuances and changes that we had to be respectful of as well. And so I use my Love Smart cards myself personally, I'll say, and I also use them with all of my clients when I'm working with couples, when I'm working with individuals, when I'm working with groups. I've been doing presentations, as Katrina said, corporately. I recently taught teacher mentors in Vancouver who will teach other teachers. And I've worked with businesses and I've done these presentations and hands-on experiential workshops all over the place, and including I have another one in Calgary tomorrow night, for example. So the feedback I receive from the cards, people say, that time we did the thing with those cards, that was the most impactful thing that we did. And I love how people can remember that and can feel it and can process themselves through their upset with this tool. So simply powerful and powerfully simple tool.
Thank you so much, Linda. It's such a blessing to have your enthusiasm join me as it relates to bringing Love Smart Cards into the world. It's really such a gift. So I'm deeply grateful. And I am aware that you have offerings also that can be seen on your link tree. And so I just want to make sure people have that in the chat so that we can send you there. You can check. Linda has some of them, of course, are in person. You need to fly to Canada for them, but others are online. So she's an incredible teacher, and I definitely highly recommend checking out her offerings. You'll get everything with the Love Smart cards, but you'll also get juicy love on Transformational Talk Radio. So this is a great place to reach her. And Linda, it's just a delight to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It was actually, I had forgotten that story, and it's wonderful to hear it again and to remember, and just to your amazing journey. And I just want to put forward that the journey that Linda just described, maybe there's some people watching this show, maybe they're in our Zoom room, maybe they're watching on YouTube or Facebook, that feel also, wow, maybe that's something I'd like to do. And so the journey that Linda had started simply enough. And so I just want to put that out there to anybody who's watching, reach out to Katrina, reach out to Linda, because whether it's just learning how to use these cards and these tools, to have better relationships in your life, or perhaps to even learn them with the enthusiasm we all have of sharing with others. So I want to just put that out there. Yeah, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you right now. That person. Okay, she got it.
Yes. And I would love to bring Nancy on as well. Nancy Katyal is another woman who contacted me. Oh, one of the things I love about Love Smart Cards is I end up having people with this like beautiful enthusiasm that just spontaneously arises in them, and they contact me and say, I would love to do something with you. And so I got to have this beautiful experience with Nancy. I think it was last year. My sense of time is really it's been such a full year. But Nancy is an award-winning leadership consultant in India. She does impact communication coaching. She's an international keynote speaker and author who also really envisions a world of peace where everybody lives in purpose. There's so much more I could say about you, Nancy. Your presence on your website, I think, shares a lot of it. So I definitely want to share that website with you all. She serves as president of the Conscious Communication Council and is really a leader in her own right. And also, even though she's got many certifications, she is just on the verge of completing her NVC certification. It was really an honor and privilege to be in your pre-assessment this morning with you. So Nancy, thank you so much for joining us, and love to hear a little bit more, or again rather, about what inspired you to reach out to me. Yeah, your own sharing with Love Smart Cards and the difference NVC has made in your life.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. And I was just going through a website and I happened to come across Katrina's Love Smart Cards. And when I saw, oh my God, they are in some other country, and how do we make sure I get them? You know, those moments where you're sitting with yourself and you are wondering, what am I feeling really? Is it that? No, it's not that. Is it that? And I think the cards really helped me to really invite as to what's going on, breathe and drop in to my embodied honesty and empathy. And something in me said, I have to reach out. And she was very generous and kind to say that, yes, we can bring that to India as well. When I asked her that it's so impactful, that is it possible that we can impact more lives? And then there was this partnership of Katrina stretching and saying, how is it? And translating and helping me put that together. And also I want to share that why, for me, it's not just a box. It's love packed in a precious container. That's how I see it. It's here. And for me, I remember facilitating a corporate workshop. And I don't know if you are familiar with this, but most of the time people would say emotions don't have place in business and stuff like that. And I was doing a workshop with leaders, and he said, you know, these people don't get it. They have to do the business and ROI. And I said, looks like you're upset and angry. No, I'm not angry. And I'm like, sure. And a part of me wanted to jump and say, this is anger. And I calmed that part down. And I just said, I'm just curious. Would you be open to just play a game with me? And he said, yes, sure. And then there was a group that we invited and I facilitated. And I said, just place these cards, wondering what's going on in your system. I didn't use the word body so that I don't even get another one from him. And he said, interesting. And then I asked that, even if whatever you're feeling, what do you think you really desire? Even you're disappointed or concerned. And then after the workshop, he said, where do we get them from? And I think that was it. That was it, that slow, loving nudge that maybe a facilitator cannot bring sometimes. These cards really invite you in your inner world. And that has been my journey as well. Though I'm on the certification journey, but I have to put my hand on heart to say there are times that I check with myself and cards are right at the corner to say, what's going on, Nancy? And I would say, I don't know. Is it that? I know. Are you feeling disappointed? No. Are you feeling upset? No. And then I reach out to these cards because they really help me name exactly what I'm feeling and what do I need. So it has been very transformational, especially in my coaching world as well. And I'm really, really grateful for the partnership and collaboration I did with Katrina and also her presence. I think one thing is about the cards, another thing is what Katrina embodies. And it's almost like, Katrina's presence is here also. It almost, every time I lift, I almost feel her presence. So I think it's a warm, nudging invitation every time to look into the inner world and show up with more compassion in the outer world. And it has been transformational. So thank you so much, Katrina, for the work that you do and for bringing Love Smart Cards in my life.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to hear again how you connected with them and the difference that they've been able to make, especially bringing this into the corporate workplace where feelings are generally not spoken about. I'm sure you and anybody who's used the cards has really experienced how when we find the exacting words that identify what's happening in our emotional body, it actually helps to calm the nervous system and give us greater clarity and compassion. So it gives us more of the foundation that we need to solve problems, whether they're, family or corporate. And so it's really powerful. And I just love the way you're taking them into India. It's really a delight to be working with you and to do that translation project. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw some questions in the chat. I saw Linda's answering some. Can the cards help us determine what we're feeling? Absolutely. So the cards, and I don't know, Scott, if you can highlight my other screen, my Love Smart Cards screen here.
Sure. The Facebook page or the YouTube channel?
No, my profile in Zoom that's called Love Smart Cards.
Okay, your profile in Zoom that's called Love Smart Cards.
Yes. There we go. All right. So inside the box, there's that book as we saw in the video, and then there's 4 sets of cards. So in terms of feelings, we've got pleasant and unpleasant feelings here. And on each card, there's just one word. And so you can look at one word at a time and say, am I feeling that right now? And by flipping through the cards, you'll start to build your vocabulary and a sense of somatic resonance with the reality of your emotions. So again, we have the ones that are pleasant and nourishing feelings, which are connected to our needs being well met. And we also have the challenging feelings, which are connected to these precious universal needs being unmet. And then character strength cards is an addition that's not part of nonviolent communication, but it can support you to find an empowered way of being regardless of what challenge you're going through. So those are the 4 decks of cards that are inside the set. And again, there's a 108-page guidebook here that will bring you through all of the basics. So when Linda said that she had learned all the basics, that is all covered in this book and more. There's a lot that's been accumulated since the time that we met. So I wanted to let you know that. I also saw a question about Ecuador. I do have a print and play set of cards for children. I do not have the full set for adults. So that's what I have, and I have not put those into my store as of yet. So that could happen, and it does not exist yet.
I'm bringing Nancy back up because we
Yes.
didn't get a chance to see her website yet.
Yes.
So to learn more about Nancy, her website is her name, Nancy, and the last name is spelled K-A-T, like cat, like Katrina, cat, Y-A-L. So it's Nancy, KATYAL.com. I'm going to accept your cookies. And Nancy, is there anything you want to definitely make sure on the website people know about or are looking at?
I appreciate you asking. I also do one-on-one coaching and also a lot of work around NVC. So would be happy to hear from you if is there any way I can support in that.
Wonderful. And if you go to her website, you can contact her that way. And Nancy, thank you for taking Katrina's beautiful work and making it your own and bringing it to India. I love that. That's really cool.
Yes, thank you. So we would love to open up the room for questions from people who are here with us live in Zoom. If you have any questions about what we've presented so far, or if there are situations you might like to share where it's been hard to, let's say, love smart. It's been hard to find, like, okay, how do I find the capacity to be loving and compassionate here? We'd love to hear if you'd like to write in the chat what has been challenging for you, and perhaps you could get some support in that today. I also see a question from Ann West. So while we're waiting for anything from the chat, I will pull up I'll pull up the website where you can see what is available here on the Love Smart website. So if we go to the shop, the cards are there. I have international shipping separate from domestic, just because of the shipping methodology. And it will probably give you too high of a price. So if you're international, you'll be receiving some amount of refund in comparison to what it gives there. If you already have the cards, you can get a print book on the website, but you can also get a PDF download for the pre-existing set of cards. And actually, I would be happy to gift that to you. If you have a set of cards, email me and I will gift that to you. You can also see the Japanese English set that Makiko did the translation for are here. We do not have the Hindi set yet because we haven't been able to do a large enough publication for me to hold stock in those, but I'm looking forward to the time that we're able to do that. So you can find all of these at lovesmartcards.com. All right. I'm not seeing anything in the chat right now. So we're going to have a second opportunity for some Q&A a little later on, but perhaps it might make sense to move to our musical guest.
Yeah. Here she is.
Wonderful. Welcome, Vaidehi.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I think we could maybe turn your volume up just a little bit.
Okay, excellent. Let me know if that's better there.
Okay.
Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sound good.
Excellent. Hi, Katrina. Hi,
Hey.
everyone. Hi, Scott.
Hey.
So, Vaidehi is my new musical crush. I adore this woman. She is a visionary musical artist, blending hip hop and rap with sacred mantra in a powerful form of live performance that awakens the heart and elevates the spirit. She was raised in a bhakti yoga tradition and often weaves in these beautiful spiritual teachings to her music so that we can understand more of the depth of what she's created here. It's really my joy to have you here with us, and I'm looking forward to your musical presentation.
Thank you so much, Katrina, for having me here, and Scott for having me here as well, and Omashar for your help with setting things up. It's really such a pleasure and really a fulfilling opportunity to share this message, to share this music. Can I just share a little bit before we play the song?
Yeah, I was actually hoping, because you have such a fascinating story. Of course, she was on the show a few years ago and told her story. So please do share a little bit, especially we've got time.
Okay, let me know how much time. Give me a heads up if the story gets too involved.
Okay. You'll see me come in and I'll be smiling like this.
Okay, I'll be watching. So to give a little bit of a recap, I was born and raised in the bhakti yoga tradition. So really it's called the Vaishnav Vaishnav tradition. And if you see here, I have this tilak marking. And the tilak marking is a symbol of Lord Vishnu. And so, all of these things, you might be like, what is she saying in one ear, out the other? But really, it has to do with universal truth, universal understanding, and this concept that God, Goddess is a person, and that you have that relationship with the divine. And it can show up different ways in the heart as a personified person, guru, or through the scriptures, bani, transcendental sound vibration. And so these songs that I sing are transcendental sound vibration, not because I sing them, but because they are revealed truth. They are coming from a higher plane, right? And so beautifully, as all these wonderful coaches and presenters of nonviolent communication, right? There's something powerful that happens to sound when it's imbued with intention, right? When it's imbued with consciousness. And so this sound vibration is infused with realization and revelation of the saints. And so I had the good fortune of being raised in a temple, in an ashram, and I was raised with a guru, a teacher, who named me when I was a baby. And I grew up hearing these chants, these songs, these bells, the pujas, the arti ceremonies. I literally was raised in an ashram. And through my life journey, I found that I had my own relationship with my guru, my own relationship to that sacred knowledge, to that sound vibration. And it was something unique and something special. And I could feel that. And I could feel that I was carrying it with me. But because I was a child, I didn't really understand that there was something special until my interactions with my guru. As a child, writing him a letter, telling him a story about how I could feel the trees swaying and singing and the birds chirping these beautiful messages of divinity. These were my letters to him as a 12-year-old. I started finding that there was some divine relationship that was awakening within me. So as I grew up to be a teenager and a young adult, I lived in India for many years and engaged in much chanting and participating in the pujas. But the thing about this tradition is that women aren't always allowed to sing in the temples. And so a big part of my journey with mantra, with transcendental sound vibration, has been to break out of some of the cultural standards and norms and to find my own voice with this chanting. And I sing both traditional kirtan, and I also have created this sound vibration that you'll hear tonight. We'll be sharing 2 songs, which gives you just one verse from a whole song that might have 8 to 10 verses written by bhakti saints. So we've heard of Rumi, right? And how powerful Rumi is with these transcendental messages. And in the bhakti tradition, we have like a mini army of Rumis, authors, poets. They're known as Kavi Raj, kings of poetry. So Kavi means poet and Raj means king. And they are the authors of these words that you'll hear in the songs. And so I recognized, since Scott asked to share a little bit about my story, that really all I want to do with my life is share this transcendental sound vibration, and in a creative way, in a traditional way as well, but also in a creative way that allows, our guru always talks about, like, you're giving something from the heart and you are transmitting your realization from your heart. And it is about that heart-to-heart transaction. And so when I was with him, I said to him, Gurudev, I want to share this message with the world. I want to share it through singing, speaking, writing, storytelling, theater. And at that time, he said, you will get that chance. Krishna will bless you with that chance. Whole world you can sing. And so, he passed in 2010, and I share this music and these songs as a prayer and as a reminder. Smaranam. Smaranam means remembrance. Smaranam is one of the 9 processes of bhakti. Bhakti means devotion. So what a really appropriate topic for everything you guys are talking about here tonight. Talking about love, speaking with love, understanding intention, coming from a place of compassion. These are all the skills and the qualities of the saintly. They are known as, the supremely merciful, doyal. They are carrying this mercy. It's a movement of mercy. And part of that distribution of mercy and blessing and compassion is in sharing these songs and inviting everybody to also sing and dance and receive this transcendental sound vibration. And so this first song that you'll hear tonight, and we're just going to play the recorded version live so you can dance and sing along, comes from a song written by Sri Govindadas Kaviraj. And this traditional song in the temple, we sing Bajahure Mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. And then there is this one line, Kamala Tala Chala Jivana Tala Mala, Kamala Tala Chala Jivana Tala Mala, Bajahu Hari Parani Tire, Bajahu De Mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. So this beautiful message. Bajahude mana. This word mana. Can you guess what it means? Man. What does it sound like?
Abundance.
Mind.
Mind.
Yes. The seat can be the seat of abundance. Mana means mind. Baja. Hure mana. So, oh my mind, please just worship the Lord. And, these divine personalities, right? We're talking about God, goddess, the creator, whatever word is applicable to you, your relationship with the divine. This song is saying, just worship the feet of your divine guardians, of your divine masters, and let your mind dance with their message, with their name. And then Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Tala Mala. So this life is like a drop of water on the leaf of a, what do you see around me here?
Lotus flowers.
On the leaf of a lotus. Jivana, the soul. Talamala is like a drop of water falling down this lotus and the stem. So at any moment, right, we can forget, we can lose our life, we can, right? How ephemeral life can be, and the power of the mind. So it's saying engage your mind at every chance that you get in this transcendental sound vibration, for this will destroy all fear. This destroys all fear. When you can really understand, wow, I am a child of nectar, of bliss, of ecstasy, of anandam. I'm full of truth, sat. I am chit. I am eternally conscious. Right? I'm not just this body that can, over time it is decaying, right? Like everything in this world, it is temporary. Even our memory can be temporary, as we see in our elderly folk. They lose their memory, they lose their identity. We look at our bodies and see them changing. So much is changing and transforming in this material creation. But the good fortune and blessing that we have is that we can remember that we are children of nectar. How do we connect to that vibration of nectar? Through prayer, through chanting, transcendental sound vibration, meditation. So, Shravanam, which means to hear this divine message, to hear those words that bring that good tithing, that good message, and that help to awaken. And Kirtanam, to chant the glories, to speak the glories of that divine plane, right? I know that Kat can attest to this, right? And Linda, and even Nancy, speaking positive words, speaking positive things, right? This beautiful practice of Kirtanam, speaking the glories of that divine plane, the good qualities of others, that is the closest, right? Soul-like. What is that soul-like essence? We're covered in divine light and imbued with a mood of devotion when we can awaken to it. So this practice of chanting, of kirtan, which I know kirtan happens in this beautiful community, helps us to awaken our relationship to the spiritual plane, which is where we are from. So before we play the song, I wanted to invite you to share just a little bit with your own voice. If you can say, you'll hear some of these words. Let's see, we'll say, Vande Guru Shri. Can you say that? Vande.
Vande Guru Shri.
Beautiful. So Vande Guru Shri. And then Charanara.
Charanara.
Vindam.
Vindam.
So I'm offering my respects to Sri Guru, to the lotus feet of Sri Guru. Vande Guru Shri Charanara Vindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanara Vindam. You're about to hear this song, Kamala Dala Jala. Take it away, Omashar, who is playing the track for us.
Jala Jivana Talamala Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala Pajahu Hari Para Niti Pajahu Hari Para Jala Jivana Talamala Kamala Tala Jala Jivana Talamala Kamala Tala Jala Jivana Talamala Pajahu Hari Para
Let's go to gallery view and give some wonderful twinkles and appreciation to Vaidehi. And while you're twinkling her, I'm going to read some of the comments, Vaidehi, that have come in your way. A lot of beautiful things. Carol Craig writes, Vaidehi, I love your words. After having a near-death experience, I know what you're saying is true. Fear is gone. I've been attending live kirtan chanting recently, and it's been very healing. Beatrice writes, captivating. Thank you. DR writes, blending the sacred and the secular, the best of being divinely human. Eleanor Joy, watching you dance, writes, certain people, especially women from certain countries like India, are oh so exquisite. Beauty and grace in motion. And more comments coming in. So thank you very much. And we're gonna have one more experience with Vaidehi, but I want people to know how you can get more of her. And we're gonna actually go to two websites. This is her main website, and it's her name, Vaidehi. She spells it Vaidehi, and the last name Amair, AMAIR.com. I'm going to leave that up so you can see it in, and we'll also put it back in the chat box one more time. But definitely join her mailing list. I'm doing that right now. It says book your events. So tell us about some of the events that you provide.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share this. And yeah, it's really just such a pleasure and honor to even be sharing this. So when it comes to events, usually I'm at festivals and I share this music at festivals. But a lot of the times what happens is I meet such wonderful people like Kat at festivals. And then they ask me if I can sing for their birthday parties or gatherings. And I often do that, baby showers, weddings. And it's really about bringing this message and this transcendental sound vibration to their event, because that's what's carried here. And then I also offer workshops wherever these events are happening as well. So those workshops can look like learning to awaken your voice with different practices, with affirmation. The body-mind connection is really important because so much spiritual bypassing can sometimes happen in these spiritual environments and communities. So I really like to do some of that work, that somatic work, that breath work, that affirmation group work, along with mantra, being introduced to mantra, toning, humming, and just learning to get comfortable with your voice and to free your voice. So this kind of offering, and I also share online workshops, and later, whenever it's appropriate, you'll see that I'll be inviting everybody here to join me if you would like in the beginning of the new year to my 31 days to vocal awakening, and we'll share more about that at the appropriate time. You can reach out, but this is the kind of offering that can be made available to you if you like this.
Yeah, after your second presentation, we'll take a look at the Goddess Moon Temple and learn about your January offering. Thank you so much. Beautiful, just a beautiful interlude. And Katrina, I want to make sure you knew that Makiko is here.
Oh, how wonderful. Yay. I'm wondering if she might be ready to present soon, or if she might like somebody else to come on before her.
Well, let's ask her. There she is.
Hi.
Hello, so good to
Hi.
see you, Makiko.
Hi, Katrina and everyone. Hi, this is Makiko from Japan. I'm just quickly dropping in because I need to go back to another meeting. But I'm so happy to be here and part of this Love Smart Card team.
Yeah, so Makiko is a CNBC certified trainer in Japan. She's also a transformative life coach and expert in collaborative communication and empathic leadership with over 20 years of experience in international consulting, facilitation, and organizational development. And she's a black belt in Aikido. So those are a few pieces about Makiko. Makiko and I met about 10 years ago now and had this beautiful connection. and then you were inspired to bring the Love Smart cards to Japan. So it's really been a pleasure to work with you as well, and to see you spreading this knowledge in Japan. And I'm wondering if you have a moment to tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, just quickly, but I really want to share that how much appreciation Love Smart Card is getting in Japanese from the Japanese people. One wonderful experience that I had is like there is one English conversation teacher who decided to use the Love Smart Card for their English lessons. And she said, like, it's really touching. It's like the reason why people want to learn new language is because they have some passion. They have the dream to make the connections. And Love Smart Card really matches, because it really touches your deep inside of deep side of their heart and longings, and also has the character strengths, which is really touching, how unique you are. So that is only the part of the story, but there are so many people, every month I'm receiving some people sending me the message how much they enjoy the card and how much the beautiful connection they're experiencing. So I feel so happy and honored to be part of the team, and celebration for you, Katrina, for making this happen.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to work with you. And, one of the things you shared with me that really touches me about Love Smart Cards in Japan is that in the culture in Japan, there can be a tendency to be very, very humble, to a point of even saying things that can be painful to hear. Like parents might say things that, oh, my child isn't good enough, as a form of supporting humility. And I love how the Love Smart cards, having the character strength cards, has given people permission to say, I see the beauty in you. I see the strength in you. I see your kindness. I see your compassion. I see your patience. And to start gifting each other these forms of acknowledgement that can heal and bring levity to this part of the culture that's so well-meaning and still can be difficult. And so it's been really touching for me to hear this.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Yes, this humbleness is very like something common in our culture. And so people children and parents having the conversation around the character strengths is so beautiful. And not only that, I so much enjoyed when I used the card for the senior management training in the corporation. And they're like showing appreciation using the character strengths card. And that was so powerful. And people are like, whoa, do you see me that way? It's like, it's so funny to see people in their senior age male and having that conversation. It's so unusual and so beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Makiko. It's really good to have you here. If you have a moment longer, we'd love to share your website so that people can see you there.
Oh yeah,
I've got two up for her.
Okay,
First off,
wonderful.
here's Love Smart Cards Japan. I love that. It's so beautiful, Katrina, to see your creation getting all around the world. And I don't know how many of our friends will be able to use Love Smart Cards in Japan, but it is lovesmartcards.jp, lovesmartcards.jp. And then Makiko does have her own website, which is also in Japanese, but we'll take a look at it. It's beautiful. Light your life and connect with the wisdom of nature. And Makiko, is there any particular part of this website that you'd like for us to direct our audience to?
Oh, there was an English website, like the part says English, so they can.
Yep. There we are. Okay. Thank you. And that's where you can learn all about Makiko and her services, and how to contact you. Right here, just click contact, and that's how you can reach her. We'll switch over to English. There we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm so grateful you could join us for a bit this evening. this morning for you.
Thank you, Makiko.
Thank you very much. Bye.
All right. Well, what a blessing. And I'd love to bring up one of our love coaches from Love Coach Academy alumni, Miss Ann West. And welcome, Ann.
Thank
Ann,
you.
Ann is a seasoned relationship coach with a PhD in spiritual psychology and over 20 years of experience supporting individuals, couples, and families through deep emotional healing and relational transformation.
Thank you, Katrina.
Yeah,
And
great
thank
to
you, Scott. And it's just lovely to be here and brings back a lot of memories. I'm reminiscing over the years that we taught together, that we led workshops and retreats and Harbin Hot Springs. And, you know, I entered into this world with Scott and Katrina. It's kind of a magical journey, really, when I moved to Pope Valley and Scott called me and said it was, let's, you didn't even know that I'd moved up there. And you said, I want to introduce you to your new tribe.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anybody at all. And so, and then was invited to join you on a training that you were offering. And that was my first introduction to nonviolent communication and compassionate communication, and Katrina, and the gatherings that Scott, you were having all the time. It was just a big free-for-all, wonderful love fest constantly. And I quickly jumped in with both feet and learned a lot from Scott and Katrina. And it's helped me, this work, nonviolent communication and Katrina's cards, have helped guide my life. I'm a bit of a fiery Scotswoman, and
Oh, yeah.
yes. And this work has helped me to balance a lot of the energy and the feelings and needs that have just been mine alone. Forget even bringing them into my client's life, which I have been doing now over the past 15 years. But it helped me tremendously to be able to really get in touch with Anne, with Anne's needs, with Anne's heart, and to be able to share on that deep level. Because when I would watch Katrina interact and Scott interact and teach, it showed me a different level of being able to connect, of being real and transparent and honest and vulnerable, and yet have so much empathy and compassion. And that was truly a gift that you both shared. And so over the years, working with you both, training with you both, learning from you both, using the cards, I've helped to transform, many hundreds of, maybe thousands of clients' lives through using these teachings. And it's just a treasure and a blessing to have had this journey with you both. And it's just, going to continue, because as we share and allow ourselves to be vulnerable and to be really real and to move out of being that victim reality, that victim mentality, and into being more victorious of handling our emotions correctly and being able to step up to the table with these teachings and the cards, being able to really help guide accurately. So there's no miscommunication or misunderstanding. The cards really help to narrow into the fine tuning of what it is we're trying to express, what it is we're trying to feel and get out of our own energy field, our own mind, our own heart. So the tools here, we have the tools now. Thank you for that, Katrina. And thank you, Scott, for all of the work that you've been doing over the years. I miss you both so much.
Yeah.
It's so lovely to be here with you again. And gosh, it would be great to reconnect in that way again. But time has taken us in many different directions, but our hearts are always connected.
There will be some combination of Love Coach Academy's Love Smart Global Peace Tribe Retreat.
Let's do it.
It'll happen for sure.
Yes, yes. Thank you for the opportunity to share a little tonight.
Eleanor Joy, who's one of our regulars, Anne, wrote, for some reason, listening to Anne is bringing tears of resonance to my eyes.
Oh,
So much love and compassion being expressed tonight. And
oh,
Yara responded to that and said, yes, feeling Anne's genuine heart love.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
gonna have to send
building
this.
the garden together.
I'm gonna have to send this recording to Matt Brown because, of course, Linda and all of us spent so much time doing retreats at Matt's place in Skyward Town.
Yes, yes,
Matt.
absolutely.
Mm. I'll bring Linda up for a moment since I just mentioned her, and yeah, it is bringing back beautiful memories.
You could bring up Teresa too as a
There's more, exactly. Let's bring on Teresa. Do you want to introduce her?
Sure. However, I also recognize we didn't go to Anne West's website. I don't know if we do that now or
Yeah, that's a
after.
good idea. Sure, let's do that.
Let's do that.
And her website, which actually just put into the chat box, is her name. It's Dr. Ann West.net. Notice it's .net, not .com. And she is a brilliant coach. I know many people whose lives have transformed her. And I've known Anne, oh gosh, back in the 1980s, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. The beginning of the 1990s, 1990, around there. Yes.
Yeah. And anyway, so definitely put in your email address so that you can get all things Ann West. And is there anything you want to especially let people know about?
I run personal retreats for people who are really wanting to dive deep into their own healing and transformation. And most of the time they're one-on-one, and I've not been doing group retreats for a while, actually since COVID. So the retreats really help to a deep dive into old wounds and really clean it out, freshen up from inside, and open the heart again, and have the support that you need where there might be fear to look at things that have occurred in the past that you didn't know how to clear out. We have all the tools, and we can do it safely and gently, but there's no need to walk around in life feeling wounded and being wounded and carrying the wounds from the past. Let's drop that, let it go. And so I really enjoy running these retreats, and they're filled with love and light and a little kick in the butt sometimes.
Not always so little, Anne. I've had the blessing of being coached by Anne, and she helped me through a tough time in my life. And I noticed, actually, going back to your website for a moment, again, drannwest.net, she has a lot of different things that she offers. If you press work with me, I've done oxygen therapy with her.
Yeah.
And I've done relationship coaching with her and spiritual counseling with her. And of course, we've taught workshops together. So there's a lot of different things that she does. And you see people in person in Napa, and also work with people via Zoom.
Correct. Yes, thank you.
Good to see you again, Anne.
So good to see you, Scott.
All right, so here is Teresa, another beloved that is so good to see again. Welcome to the Awakening
Welcome.
World.
Yes, welcome, Teresa. So Teresa is a certified hypnotherapist, relationship and communication coach, and personal wellness practitioner. She's currently located in the Midwest, and she is on hiatus right now, attending to elder family care. So I'm so grateful that you were able to carve out some time to be with us all tonight. It's really a treat to have you here, Teresa. And love to hear what's alive in you to share as it relates to all of this work.
Oh, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here with you all this evening, to see these familiar faces and to hearken back to those times when we were in Scott's, what do you want to say, school, and so much learning, so much rich, rich, authentic sharing. I remember getting these cards at a time when my life was very tumultuous. And yes, using these cards with people in session, clients and whatnot, has been wonderful. But I really have to say that the most pivotal, the most impactful was to use them for myself and my family. I come from a Germanic background. My father is rather stoic and he was a difficult personality growing up. And so we learned that if there was anger, it could have been sadness, it could have been pain, it could have been, it could have been any number of other underlying emotions, all coming out as one, anger. So, having these cards to help myself untangle a lifetime of learning improper expression of my true emotion was so helpful. And now to be able to use them with people in hypnotherapy session and whatnot, helping them to kind of break apart and uncover what it is that they're wanting to bring forward for themselves. I'm really feeling excited for that opportunity. So thank you again, Katrina, for these wonderful tools, and Scott, and for Love Coach Academy. I'm so very grateful. It's just, I miss you all. I miss it, and I miss you all.
Thank you, Teresa. It's really a joy to have you here. We miss you as well, and it just warms my heart to know how the cards have made such a difference in your life and that you're able to pass that gift forward with clients and friends. And are you taking any clients right now, or are you totally on hiatus?
I'm on hiatus for now, but within the next few months, I do hope to begin again. Yes. So,
All
and
right.
I don't have a website up, but I will try and share that information more broadly once I begin.
Wonderful. Just wanted to check in on that.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Once you're ready to start seeing clients again, let me know. I will have you come back on the show and promote, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
It's wonderful to see you guys.
All right. So we've got a bit of time for Q&A. I know that there were some questions that we have missed in the chat previously, and I don't know if I can track it all. So if you do have a question that's still hanging, please do place that in the chat for us. And I'm just going to
scanning and looking.
Yeah. Of course, there were questions about how to get the cards. That is at lovesmartcards.com. And I think there was a question from Susan wanting to know how to use the cards to figure out your feelings. And so I don't know, Susan, if I've answered that or if that's still alive in you. Love to hear from you.
And if anybody has, we probably have time for one or two questions if people have an actual relationship question. Is there a particular relationship issue that's challenging? We're entering the holy days, So there's family gatherings, and as Ram Dass said, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family. So here's a question from Vaidehi. Thank you.
Vaidehi.
When do you know that enough is enough when dealing with toxic situations, people, relationships, and communities? How do you know when you reach a limit, and how do you create a boundary? Great question.
Yeah, I love that one. And that's multi-layered, definitely what you're talking about. One of the things I would think about is also like, how do you know when you've eaten enough? Right? There's this feeling of like, I have a certain capacity, and there's times when I go beyond my capacity. And so, that could be because of relationship toxicity, and it could be something else, but I've gone beyond my capacity. My willingness to be in this relationship is questionably there. I don't know if the willingness is still there. One of the challenges is sometimes we can be in toxic relationship, but there's also dependency. So you might share finances, or it could be at home or at work. And so sometimes you have to go, okay, I'm past my capacity, but there are still needs that are met here that are meaning that I'm not ready to cut the cord and shift the nature of the relationship. So there's a bit of a balancing act that we do here where we go, okay, on the one hand, this is not working for me. And you really identify what are those feelings, those needs, do all your nonviolent communication. And sometimes you can transform the relationship and it becomes better. But if you're not able to, then you're just looking at like, okay, what of my needs are met by staying, and what of my needs are met by transitioning? And it's really just finding that point in time where you recognize that your needs would clearly be better served by transitioning the relationship. These are more complex nonviolent communication skills. But having said that, in the guidebook that I have, either that standalone guidebook or the one that comes with the Love Smart cards, I do have exercises that support you to get that clarity, to recognize when you have a judgment, and to be able to see that judgment through an NVC lens, to be able to translate it through empathy for yourself and the other, how to take that information to have a constructive conversation, how to notice when there's a boundary that's arising, to notice when there's resentment arising, and to be able to address those things. And then there's also a point where you have a non-negotiable boundary, and it's time to transition the way the relationship is happening. And so there are step-by-step processes for all of that inside of this guidebook that work hand in hand with the cards and can support you. And where you get stuck, of course, you call a love coach to help you through some of the nuances. But a very important question. I think all of us at some time or another have a challenge with a relationship that becomes so draining and so difficult that it's really worthwhile to say, is this worth my time and attention? Let me see how I can use this as a master teacher to grow. And where I have clearly come to my limit, let me learn how to cut the cord with compassion and clarity.
I'm going to offer something too, and I'm just finishing putting in the chat box. And then I'm going to walk it through with people because it's one of my favorite things. See my discomfort. Got it. So this is a variation, Katrina and Anne and Trace and friends, of something that I learned from Marshall Rosenberg. And I kind of took what I learned from Marshall and I've given it my own Scott Thomas spin, which is what I do with most things. And it's an emergency dose of self-empathy. This is for when you are with somebody that you care about. It's a relationship that you can't just end, but it's getting really difficult. And so it's 5 steps. And if you memorize these 5 steps, they all take place inside your own brain. So you're really getting frustrated with somebody, or you walk in and somebody says or does something that throws you off. The first thing you do is you ask for a minute to get centered. So you've got a minute to do this. And then you allow yourself one sentence of judgment, one sentence of what the, or oh, geez, not again, or is she really crazy? Or you allow yourself just one sentence of judgment to kind of get that out of the way because it's there. And then you go deeper. What am I feeling? I'm frustrated. I'm agitated. I don't want to deal with this. Oh, but you drop into the feelings, frustration, agitation, confusion, perhaps. And of course, remember, underneath all of our feelings are our unmet needs. But you flip it. What is it I'm longing for? What do I really want right now? I just want ease. I want harmony. I want to be understood. Whatever it is, you get in touch with it and you remember for a moment what it feels like to have ease or to have harmony or to have whatever it is you want. And as you're doing that, you actually are changing where you are in the brain. You're moving from the reptile brain, which is the judgment part, into up here, which is where you're feeling, you're giving yourself empathy, you're giving yourself understanding. You're changing where your brain is operating from. And so it gets you out of that reptile brain reactivity and into the frontal and temporal lobes, which is where we have compassion and can see the big picture. And then once you've got in touch what it is you really are longing for, you remember what that feels like. And it gives you that emergency dose of self-empathy. All that can be done in about 45 seconds. And then you ask yourself a critical question. After giving yourself that emergency dose, can your care for this person or your love for this person supersede your discomfort? Can your care or love supersede your discomfort? Now be honest with yourself. Most of the time, the answer will be, yeah, I'm okay, I can do this. But if after you've gone through that little process, that's where we kind of get to her question, if you're still like, no, I don't want to deal with this right now, then you lovingly take space. And a wonderful way to say that is, I'm sorry, I can't provide you with the quality of connection that I would like right now. I need to take care of myself. I'm learning to take better care of myself. And you exit. So there's a wonderful little practice. That way we've got one tool heading out into our world, our awakening world. And bringing Katrina back up.
Yes, I believe I saw another question, but I've been scrolling the chat, so I've lost it. Let's see. I saw that Susan is interested in talking about feelings, but not on camera. So I'm wondering if maybe, Susan, you might like to unmute yourself and ask your question without coming on screen with us here.
My question is just, can you like just take some of the cards out and say, this is the feelings, these are the feelings. Something seems to be missing in the clarity on what the cards actually are. Like you guys have all worked with them so much that you are talking about what happened after you worked with them, but it's a little hard just to understand what are they?
Sure. So we could potentially pop on the other camera, and I can also try and work with this with my virtual background. So these are the feelings cards, right? There's emotions connected to met needs here, and there's emotions connected to unmet needs. So if you flip through these cards, there's one word on each one, right? So here you would look at afraid and scared and say, is that alive in me right now? If it's a yes, you'd put it in the yes pile. And if it's a no, you'd put it in no pile. So I just go like that. If it's not true, I just put it face down. Am I angry? Not right now. Am I annoyed? Sure, maybe I'm annoyed right now. So you're just really flipping through these one by one and identifying what's happening inside of you. And so there's 54 of these emotions that you would flip through. And these emotions here are indicators that you have precious needs that are not being well met. So anytime you identify emotions that are painful, you can then take this green deck and you look at these one by one and say, do I have an unmet need for support right now? And again, you do that similar process. If it's a yes, you're going to put it face up. If it's a no, you put it face down. And so you're creating a spread of cards. I don't have enough space here to do a whole process, but you're creating a spread of cards that gives you full visibility into the emotions that are alive in you when you're in pain and the needs that are unmet. Or when you want to practice gratitude, you can look at the emotions that are enjoyable and nourishing, and you can go through those again one at a time and simply put them in piles of yes and no to identify what feels good right now, right? Even in a difficult situation, there's something to be grateful for. We can always identify something that feels good, and we can identify some met needs. So you're flipping through the cards to find somatic resonance with words that express emotions, words that express needs, and then if you choose, there's a fourth deck of cards, character strengths, to see what would I like to bring to the table in this particular circumstance that I'm in. You know, do I feel motivated by being accepting or being appreciative or attentive? These are still in alphabetical order because this is a new set, but they don't need to be in alphabetical order. It's just about building vocabulary and finding simple answers to questions. What am I feeling? What do I need? Would I like to practice some gratitude to fill up my cup? What are character strengths I can bring to this challenge? And then when you've done a full process with yourself, then you might imagine somebody else's shoes. If you're in conflict with another person, it can be helpful to guess, what might they be feeling? What might they be needing? What character strengths do I want to acknowledge them for? And when you have this information about yourself and about the other person, that can give you greater clarity to find a solution that can really work for both of you. So that was a brief introduction about how to use the cards. And Susan, I want to just check in with you and see if that was clear or if there's something that's missing for you there.
Oh no, I would think that you just explained everything quite so that now we know how to just address the feelings that come up inside of ourselves. And we don't all have words like that. You don't think of that all the time when you have a feeling. You just kind of are in it. And so so this makes a lot more sense. Thank you, Katrina.
Good. Thank you, Susan. And I so appreciate what you say about we don't necessarily have words. We're just in it. That's how I was when I met Scott almost 20 years ago. I had very intense emotions. I was still in heartbreak from my first divorce. My relationship with my son was impacted. I had big emotions. And when Scott would ask me, what are you feeling and what do you need? I was like, I don't know. I just don't feel right. And he could guess. He's like, oh, well, are you feeling, stressed and torn and anxious? And do you have a need for clarity and support? And for me, it seems like a psychic skill. I was like, what is he doing? That's it. And he'd bring tears to my eyes by simply identifying my feelings and needs. And what I didn't understand is that it's a skill anyone can learn. And you can literally learn to do this for yourself by having a deck of cards and just going through it. Your very first time that you use the cards, you'll have this experience. And if you use them regularly, like use them daily, within 1 week, you'll be able to start doing that for other people too. This amazing thing that I thought was a psychic skill that Scott had done for me 19 years ago, I was able to do that for other people after just 1 week of practicing regularly with the cards. So they're very powerful, and being able to bring words to express your emotions and to understand your needs is a game changer in life. So I can really appreciate that challenge of like, you're just in it. And let's see what it means to be in it. Let's pull out that precious information we can get from our emotions and from our needs, so that we can start to be real co-creators in our own lives and co-creators with the people around us, finding win-win outcomes. And again, creating that experience of back to the garden, removing the barriers to love so that we can really collaborate and work together to make a world that works for everyone.
I want to just second that for a moment. It really is true. You memorize the essential feelings, you memorize the essential needs, and they all kind of connect. You're scared because you have a need for safety. You're frustrated because you need to be understood. You start learning which ones go together pretty easily and very, very commonly. And it's amazing because people want to be understood. And you don't need to memorize or agree with a person's story, but you can always acknowledge what they're feeling and what they're needing. And the thing about feelings and needs is it's not arguable. We can argue forever about a person's story, but if they're sad and frustrated, or if they're needing respect or consideration, that's not arguable. And so it really does cut through all the kind of places where we get stuck in our communication with people. It gets to the heart of the matter. Yeah. If Anne or Teresa or any of our love coaches want to add anything, just jump in, and I'll spotlight you. Teresa, I had a feeling.
Just piggybacking on everything that you just said, Scott and Katrina, when you're sitting in a situation with a beloved other person, having a major dispute, and you take the deck and you just get clear about what it is you're feeling, you're needing, you're wanting to create, you're intending, what you want to acknowledge in that other person, and then handing them the deck and letting them take a moment to get clear about what's inside of them right now as you both go through this issue with one another. It can really, really be transformative. And I just, yes, it's very helpful to recognize what's going on in yourself, but being able to sit with another and use them together and come to some new understanding and agreement and, get back onto a page of love, understanding, compassion, empathy, and trying to find win-win for both sides. It's just really a helpful tool.
Yeah, I want to build on that. There have been times there's a process in the book called What's Alive in Me. It's a longer process, and it's one where you go through all of the cards and look at what am I feeling, what am I needing, the gratitude practice, what are the positive feelings, the met needs, the character strengths. And there are times when I have done that with my husband. We have something come up and we're just not working it through, like talking isn't working. Ever had those moments before? And we sort through the cards and we lay them all out. And then we do a show and tell. And it's amazing how much that can support a deeper mutual understanding and get you back on the same page. Like you almost don't even have to look for solutions. They just arise when you have that kind of clarity.
Yeah.
So it is very powerful. And thank you for reminding me of that piece, Teresa.
Scott, I'd like to just say a quick word. I find the cards really helpful when I'm with my grandchildren. I have 4 grandchildren now, and 3 boys and a girl. That some of them are a little young, but they're just so helpful to spread them out, and when they're having issues going on that they're having a hard time being able to relate to words, the cards really are helpful to play a game with them and talk about the situation that they just went through and offer the suggestions of each card and let them know that these are feelings that we all have, and to help them to know that their feelings are sacred, they're real, they're theirs, they're okay to have, and to make them feel like they're normal, a part of life. And I love that tool to be able to dive deep with them. And sometimes you have to explain what the word means, because they haven't heard it. So now they know, oh, there's a word for that, the way that I feel like that. So,
Mhm.
it's a wonderful set of tools to use with children. Yeah, and I mean, I know Linda, you know that because you've used them in classroom, and yeah,
And little
beautiful.
kids live in a world of feelings and needs.
Yeah, yeah.
A long, long time ago, back when I would actually go to people's houses to teach, I was working with a lesbian couple, and they had two children. They had adopted two kids from Guatemala, and one was 3 and one was 5. And they weren't part of the group. I was just working with their two moms. They were just playing kind of in the room. One of them comes in and says, "Mom, Sophie's not playing fair and she's not meeting my need for safety."
Oh,
5 years old, just from overhearing the conversation I was having with their moms. So I'll never forget that. So little ones get it because they live in a world of feelings and needs.
yes, yes. Thank you.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Linda, did you want to say something?
Oh my gosh, so many things. I did a process with my niece and my nephews after spending some time in the pool with them, and the boys were kind of beating up on my niece. And when we came back inside, I said, "Let's play this little game." And I pulled out my Love Smart cards, and we went through it. And she was only 4, but very verbal and very mature. And absolutely, kids get it. My experience, no offense to the adults in the room, but the kids really get it faster than the adults. And probably, Scott, because of what you said, that their whole world is about feelings and needs. And yes, and they didn't understand every single vocabulary word on the cards. And it became their mom sat with us and we did it together, the 3 kids and their mom and I, my sister-in-law. And so it became a really rich learning opportunity too, to talk about vocabulary. And what I explain in my workshops is that I mean, this is emotional intelligence learning. And how do we become intelligent? Because we become literate. And this is about emotional literacy. And that effectively, these are flashcards, which is how we learned language in the first place, with flashcards. And I just love that in the newest iteration, Katrina watermarked with, as you see, these cards just have plain, but these ones have some corners with a little mark, right, Katrina? And so that's how we can figure out which cards, if we were going to pull out the ones to use with children or people whom maybe this is their second language, that we have the more basic words. We have worried instead of apprehensive. It's a similar tone and note and vibration, but gosh, we don't have to use such fancy words for how we're feeling. We can keep it a little simpler.
Thank you so much, Linda. Absolutely. Yes, the watermarks are to be able to support pulling the vocabulary down to an age appropriate set of cards. When I was first working with my son, he was 10 years old and he got frustrated by words he didn't understand. And so I very quickly learned that. And it was also, as Ann West had shared, a great way to increase his vocabulary. He'd have questions about words, and that created a deepening of understanding of his own emotions and expanded his vocabulary. So that is another powerful way that we can use the cards. I recognize we're close to the top of the hour. I've seen some questions coming through. I'm also loving this so much. Let's go another hour.
I know, I was thinking the same thing, but we actually start. I haven't
Yeah.
had dinner yet, and I see my kids saying, "Let's wrap it up, Scott." And we still have some wonderful things. We still have another Vaidehi experience,
Vaidehi, yes, we have it a
Vaidehi
Vaidehi song.
experience.
Mhm.
Sorry.
And I wanted to let you know also, for people who do want to practice with the cards, again, that sign up that I had earlier, the Facebook group, the Compassionate Heart Collective, is the best way to do that. I'm going to be offering free 1-hour sessions every other Tuesday, starting next Tuesday and into early March. And so all of those questions, if you want more, that is the best place to go. I'll make sure to get that link back in the Zoom. Also, for those who asked about language translations, I have of course, English and also the Japanese on my website. And they're also translated into Hindi. However, we don't have those available for sale right now. If you're interested in that, contacting Nancy would be the best way to go. So thank you all. I'll give the mic back to Scott.
Okay, well, we'll be back with Katrina. We're not done with her yet. But I think it's time for another Vaidehi experience. And Vaidehi, it really is just so beautiful what you provide. So what do you have as this next experience for us?
Thank you so much, Scott and Katrina, and all the wonderful coaches and presenters that are here tonight, and for everybody that's listening. As I'm hearing all of you talk, I'm thinking about this next song, which is to Tulsi Devi. Many of you have heard of Tulsi, Tulsi tea, or maybe you know a little bit about Ayurveda, and you've heard about Tulsi's healing properties. And in the Bhakti yoga tradition, in the Vaishnav tradition, Tulsi, which is, holy basil, she is another basil family, beautiful being. She's also known as a goddess in the Bhakti yoga tradition. Now, these things may not be so familiar to everybody or to the Western world, but actually, as we can start to see in different traditions, like the native traditions, the Asian traditions, this concept that, everything is alive. Everything is filled with consciousness. There is soul within every single atom. And so perhaps it's not so foreign to understand that a holy plant can actually be this Benedictine divine presence and protection. But the way we see her in the Bhakti yoga tradition is that she is the goddess of devotion. Bhakti, devotion, that is what that word means. Devi, which means goddess. So she is an embodied form for devotion, and we actually wear her underneath this necklace I have here. I'm wearing Tulsi. And Tulsi is also on our chanting beads, like our rosary. And if you see the symbol I'm wearing, this leaf here, it represents Tulsi Devi. And the reason we wear Tulsi in our tradition is to remember that this body is a temple of the divine. And to remember that we're really an offering, right? Everything we do, we can offer to the divine. Our singing, our purpose, our dancing, and our relationships with each other. So as I'm hearing Katrina speak about these beautiful cards, which I am definitely getting one, it's already up, it's in the shopping cart. I just am feeling this deep, wow, this is devotion, right? Again, so much spiritual bypassing can sometimes happen when we're connecting with these Eastern traditions, right? Like a not so much embodiment in some cases, not always. But this is another act of devotion, is being able to relate to each other with compassion. And one of the other, I forget which category, because there's the 6 limbs of surrender, there's the 9 processes of bhakti, but there's this other little listed items that include sharing in confidence, sharing your heart in confidence, being able to express, to explore, and introspection. So this is the embodiment of bhakti, actually. Everything we're speaking about tonight and what Katrina is sharing with her cards and what you coaches are offering us support with, this is bhakti. Bhakti isn't just in the temple with the bells, right? It is how we're interacting with each other, how we're interacting with ourselves, and how we're interacting with our wounds, and how can we interact with them in a way that helps us not project them and dump them everywhere around us. These are the principles of bhakti. And so in our tradition, we walk around Tulsi Devi. We bring her out, little plant, beautiful Tulsi Devi, and we sing this song to her as we're clapping. And it's said that every step you take singing this song and clapping your hands is like a burning away of karma, of negative vibrations. And, really, what is karma? It's trauma compounded, right? It is all of our trauma from our different experiences, our different phases of life in this lifetime, what to speak of previous lives, if you not believe, but if you feel resonant to the concept of reincarnation. So it is an opportunity to cleanse ourselves of karma, right? To pray to this goddess of devotion. May devotion arrive and arise within my heart so that I'm not operating from just survival and reaction, but deep introspection, deep devotion, deep presence, mindful, conscious, bhakti awakened communication. So I can just see how resonant the messages and the personalities of these transcendental songs in the bhakti tradition, and how they're connecting to the topic of the evening. And it's so divine. It is absolutely divine. So that's what we're singing, what we're dancing to next. And you're going to hear these words, Vrindajai Tulsi Devya. So Priyayai Keshivasya Cha, all glories to Tulsi Devi, the goddess of devotion, who is the beloved of Krishna. In the bhakti tradition, one of the names for God is Krishna, which means the all-attractive, the personification of beauty, wealth, strength, renunciation, wisdom, all of these things. And Krishna Bhakti, Radhi Devi, she is giving Krishna Bhakti. When you worship her, when you offer prayers, she is blessing with this gift of devotion. Satyavatyai Namo Namaha, another name for her. I offer my respects to you, Satyavati. And then you'll hear this line, Namore Namore Meya Namo Narayani, Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekanahimani, which comes from the full song. These are maybe like 2 verses from the song we sing in the temple. And it means like, I offer my respects to her different names, Namo Narayani, Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekanahimani. The Lord will not accept a single offering unless it has Tulsi. Prabhu Eka Nahimani. Eka means one, Nahimani. Will not give mind to a single offering unless it has devotion. So I leave you with this message so that you can at least relate to the words, and feel free to dance,
to sing along. This is a very feminine sort of vibration. So we offer our respects to Tulsi Devi. Tulsi. Tulsi Devyai, Priyayai Keshivasya Cha, Krishna Bhakti Prari Devi, Satyavatyai Namo Namaha, Namo Namaha, Namo Namaha, Namo Namaha, Namo Namaha.
Namo Namaha Vrinda Jai Tulasi Devi.
Just lost sound.
Namo Namaha Satyavatyai Namo Namaha 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 Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani 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 Vrinda Jai Tulasi Devi Priyai Keshivasya Chan Krishna Bhakti Pari Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Vrinda Jai Tulasi Devi Priyai Keshivasya Chan Krishna Bhakti Pari Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani Namode Namode Meya Namo Narayani Bina Tulasi Prabhu Ekana Himani Vrinda Jai Tulasi Devi Priyai Keshavasya Chan Krishna Bhakti Pari Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Vrinda Jai Tulasi Devi Priyai Keshavasya Chan Krishna Bhakti Pari Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha
Such beautiful dancing and devotion. I could feel it. And I saw some of the comments coming through. A lot of people will feel, wow, this is so sensual, right? It's embodied, it's love, it's joy. So beautiful to feel everybody's joy and devotion and dancing. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share and participate in having a mini dance party tonight.
Thank you, Vaidehi. And I want to take people to your other website that we haven't seen yet, the goddessmoontemple.com, goddessmoontemple.com. And please share with us a little bit about, you provide a complimentary soul purpose discovery session for people who are interested. So tell us a little bit about what that entails.
Yes. So I'm really about purpose and tapping into your purpose and being willing to be different and to engage your creative gifts and your intuitive gifts in offerings that can sustain you. I remember growing up, I got my degree in multimedia communications and film. So it's fun to make films and know how to edit video and tell stories with visuals, with images, with music, and to have that gift of speaking and presentation. But that I didn't want to do that for other people and, spend my life in the newsroom talking about, regurgitating the tragedies of the world. I had my experience working at, the CBS newsroom, and I thought NPR would be better. And I went there and worked there, and it wasn't. And it just made me realize that I really needed to tap into my creativity, my gifts, and to tell my story. And so Goddess Moon Temple became that place where I got to step into this idea that I could create my own business and create gatherings. And I started by holding moon ceremonies for women, and the women would come back. I'd hold new moon and full moon ceremonies and tell me, oh my gosh, you changed my life. I ended this toxic relationship, or I ended up applying for this thing and I got that job. And I started realizing that the moon ceremonies I was holding was transforming people's lives, and that I actually really loved doing that. And it was the place where I could bring my intuitive gifts, my communication skills, my creativity. I'm also a dancer and a movement teacher. I could bring all of those things to the table, including my gift for seeing people and their purpose and their talents, and really helping people to encourage that awakening within and to pursue it, because that's my story. That's what I had to do. I had these gifts growing up. I had these inclinations, these entrepreneurial tendencies, but I didn't really know that a world existed where you could do what you love for a living and generate your own income, offering your own creations. So Goddess Moon Temple is the place where I get to share workshops, coaching containers, in-person and online moon ceremonies, movement classes, and where I host all of my courses. So VaidehiAmair.com has been like the public facing for my music specifically, since I do perform publicly at festivals. That's just how I represent myself. But I host all of my containers on Goddess Moon Temple. So that's where you can connect with me about these offerings. And I haven't updated the goddessmoontemple.com with the current offering that I'll be sharing at the end of my dance party segment here tonight.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's definitely have you come back on the show soon, because definitely people have really enjoyed all of your offerings and your sharing. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And just before I do hop off, I didn't want to overwhelm, but you'll see there that I'm offering a 31 days to vocal awakening, which will start Monday, January 5th.
Yeah, and you can find that on Goddess Moon Temple, and it's also in the chat box.
Yes, and feel free to reach out. You can message me and I can share more about that 5-week journey.
Thank you so much, Vaidehi.
Thank you, Scott.
Ah, wow, what a wonderful, wonderful show. I'm going to bring my good friend Katrina back up. And I want to acknowledge Katrina's wonderful husband, Stephen. He's not in the Zoom room tonight, but Katrina has a very wonderful and successful marriage. And I just want to acknowledge all the wonderful ways that Stephen has supported you in the Love Smart cards.
Absolutely. It's really a blessing to have a healthy, happy, delightful marriage, especially after the first one that didn't go so well, not for lack of love, but definitely for lack of skill and readiness. The skills make all the difference. So in any good relationship, there are things that you have to navigate to keep it sweet for the long haul. And this marriage wouldn't be what it is without your support and assistance, certainly, Scott, not only in being one of my first NVC teachers, but also being somebody we could call when we were in the thick of it and I needed more than the tools I had. I needed somebody outside of us to help us guide to guide us through some of the more difficult spots. So tools can get you really far, and having an excellent love coach makes all the difference.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that I haven't gotten an SOS call from you in a very, very, very long
time.
Yeah, you're doing great. So thank you, Katrina. We're going to roll into Global Peace Tribe announcements. And then we're going to close with an Omashar song, and then we'll have our after show, afterglow prayer time. But Katrina, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you for putting all this together. I'm going to bring up all of our friends one more time that have been part of the show in different ways. Whoops, Diara is going to be on, but that's a little premature. There's Anne and Vaidehi, and who else is with us? Teresa and
Nancy's still here, but I don't know if she's available. We've gone a bit longer than we were planning on.
Yeah, I don't see her camera on. So Nancy, if you turn your camera on, we'll pop you on. But otherwise, oh, there she is. Thank you, Nancy. Yay. So here they are. So wonderful team from tonight's show, and let's all just send love and appreciation to all these wonderful, wonderful women who are doing such great work in the world, and each one is such a gem. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you, Scott, for hosting. It's such a gift that you've been offering to the community since the pandemic.
Yeah,
Very regular basis. It's such a commitment to be here in support of community, and also highlighting the many gifted artists and facilitators and teachers in our community and around the world. So thank you deeply for what you do.
5.5 years, about 600 shows. It's been something. It really is wonderful. All right, thank you all. We've got just a couple of important Global Peace Tribe announcements. And for the first one, actually, I'm going to bring up a friend. And this is Jennifer, and she's got something really special to share with all of us. Welcome, Jennifer. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Scott. Thank you so much for inviting me on. And thank you, everybody, for such an incredible show. It's an honor to be here with all of you in this beautiful gathering. So, yeah, I do have something pretty awesome to mention. I am here on behalf of Beyond Being Human, and we have an event coming up this Saturday, December 6th at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I think it's going to be just before the Saturday event that you've got coming up, and it's Beyond Christmas. So I'm going to be co-hosting with the wonderful Mary Nunes, and we are going to have an extraordinary lineup of teachers, mystics, and wisdom keepers who are going to be sharing their wisdom with us. I'm going to share the website with you. Give me just a moment to pull that up. Here we go. So this is the webpage for the event. It's the beyondbeinghuman.org/BC25. And you can take a look at the event and all of the special guests that we're going to have on. This part here with the calendar is going to show you exactly the time that it will be in your time zone. So wherever you are in the world, you're going to be able to see what time we're going to be on for that. And then we're going to look through the different conversations that we're having. So the first big conversation that's going to take place is with Dr. Melissa Sophia Joy and Marguerite Regaglioso. I had to make sure I said that one right. And they're going to be talking about Mary, Yeshua, and the rebirth of light. They're going to be exploring the deeper spiritual meaning beneath Christmas. So the rebirth of light, the multidimensional energies around Yeshua's incarnation, and Mary's role as a divine birth priestess and the embodiment of Sophia. We're also going to have, if I scroll down here for you, I'll come back up to the that part in just a minute. We're going to have Simon Hinton on with us, and Simon is going to be talking about the Cathars and the Gnostic teachings. There's Mary and myself who are hosting. Melissa is there, Marguerite, Simon, we're going to have a presentation from Kiara Windwriter and Jane 108 as well. And we're hoping to have a nice conversation at the end with Adam Apollo and Reverend Deborah Maldo, just kind of talking about the conversations and everything that was brought forward. And then Reverend Patricia Wagner is going to wrap up the show talking about her divine two-step. So I'm just going to scroll back up really quick for you to see the offering that's here. And so the way that this is set up is you can offer what makes sense for you. So if you have limited resources, but you want to join, you can do the $11, and that'll also get you a month of the membership, which I'll show you shortly. The 22, which is just the asking offering, and then the 33 if you want to support and sponsor somebody else who maybe cannot do that. So the membership page, if I switch over to that, do you guys see the switch over, or do I have to push something else? You got it?
We're seeing we don't see a membership. Yeah, it is the membership page. It is.
Wonderful. Thank you. And so on the membership page, you can go ahead and give a scroll through. And again, it's beyondbeinghuman.org/membership. And you're going to get to see all of the amazing things that are offered on the membership page. And so I'm just going through this really quick. You can go ahead. I'll put all the links in the chat once I'm done sharing. But you'll get to see the different things that are here. We've got the support groups that happen several times throughout the month, as well as different presentations and things that are already on the website. And we've got the community page here, which is going to give you a little bit more in terms of what's going on with the Beyond Christmas, as well as some other upcoming shows that are going to be on the membership page, including a couple that are part of For the Love of Mystics. So I'm just going to use that as the final page that we can look at. Actually, no, second to final. And this is the show that I host with Beyond Being Human. Mystics are my heart. This is where my passion lies. And so I have the honor of hosting this show for Beyond Being Human. And so our most recent episode that is up was a beautiful conversation I had with James Twyman about St. Francis and St. Clare. Prior to that, I had the privilege of meeting with Lara Atwood with the Religion of the Sun, and we had a beautiful conversation about the history around the Religion of the Sun and how so many of the traditions around the world are actually deeply connected. And the first episode, that was the launch, I had a fantastic conversation with Melissa Sophia Joy and Curtis Childs, and we just introduced the idea for the love of mystics and talked about our mystical journeys. The final page that I want to show you really quick is the Beyond Being Human Christmas page that's going to show you a little highlight of the conversation between Melissa Sophia Joy and Marguerite. So this is going to give you a bit of a breakdown. There's a video for you to watch, and it gives you kind of the chapters of the conversation so you can see a little bit about what's coming up, as well as intros to their bios. And of course, they have their own bio pages on the site as well. So let me stop my share there. And yeah, so I'm super excited about the upcoming show, and
you've got great guests. Marguerite has been on our show, twice in the last 6 weeks. And Melissa Joy is going to be on Saturday night after you. She's going to be with you, and then she's going to be on The Awakening World. So, and the topic.
She's got a busy evening.
It's going to be a busy evening. It's a wonderful one. So everybody, you're used to 6 o'clock being with us. Start at 4 o'clock with Beyond Christmas 2025. The link is in the chat box. And of course, you've seen it on the website for our friends on YouTube and Facebook. And Jennifer, you do great work. I enjoyed being on your show before. Look forward to being on with you again sometime next year.
I'm very excited to have you on as For the Love of Mystics, which I think we're going to have a beautiful conversation. We always do. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jennifer. And I'm going to tune in at 4 o'clock. I want to see what they have to say about. I'm sure the two of them are going to be really dynamic, so I look forward to that. Take care. All right. Well, as I mentioned, since we talked about what's going to happen for us, start with them at 4 o'clock and then swing on over to the Awakening World. We are really excited. Once a month now, I'm going to be collaborating with Neil Gar and Portal to Ascension. And so this Saturday night is the kickoff of this new monthly collaboration. And as you see, Melissa Joy is one of our guests. Remember Marilyn, who channels Zazar, which is a fascinating channel. And then a couple of new friends, Maria Martinez and Mary Rodwell. Omashar will be with us, and coming back, Nina Gray. Nina was on while Omashar was in England with his mom, and all of you loved Nina so much. I said, Nina, you got to come back again. So we're going to have great music, great guests. It'll be a very mystical show. Portal to Ascension, Neil has a lot of the same presenters that I use, but he also has ones that we haven't seen, like Maria and Mary Rodwell. So it's going to be a wonderful show. So looking forward to that. And all right. Omashar, as always, you have to help me here. Did we decide that you're going to play a song and then we're going to do prayer time, or we're doing prayer time and then a song?
We're going to do a song right now.
Okay. So our official closing song, and then we'll have our after show, Afterglow prayer time.
Yes, how about that?
When you feel like giving up, when you feel like letting go, living in this ever-changing world, when it seems that all is lost and you don't know where to turn, the future seems so very far away. So just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. So when it seems that you're alone and the fears knock at your door, remember I am just a breath away. You are my brightest star, you've just forgotten who you are. Remember there is nothing in the way, and just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. So when you feel like giving up, and when you feel like letting go, remember I am just a breath away. And just know there really is a plan. The sun will always shine, and with your hand in mine, all heaviness fades away. love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day. The love in our hearts will melt the darkest day.
Yes, it will.
I was saying all these things and realized I was muted.
It's
Twinkle
okay.
time, a final twinkle for the night for our beloved Omashar.
Twinkle for everybody. What an absolutely beautiful soup we have created tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a really lovely show and so many wonderful parts to it. Katrina, again, thank you so much for putting this together. And let's do it again in 2026 for sure. And let's do a live retreat with all the people you saw here tonight. I can see Ann West loves that idea, and I think we're overdue. So definitely in 2026, we'll do a live retreat. Maybe in the Bay Area, maybe in Sedona. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Love you guys so much. All right. I'm going to end the recording. And the reason we do